Welcome back. This is the second video on the goat, and in the first video we created an armature and wrapped it in pipe cleaner. And now using off-white core roving, I'm going to wrap to get to about this point. So if I were making a brown goat, I would use brown core roving or gray, or whatever kind of goes with the color goat that you're making. But for you guys to see, the off-white shows up really well. I want to take like 20 seconds to point out that I'm using a new felting surface that I created, and hopefully we'll have available to sell in the next couple of weeks. But it's a double layer of burlap, and I filled this with rice. I'm going to try a couple of different grains, maybe something a little lighter. But anyway, it's working really well, and it's more eco-friendly than the foam. So, wrapping. When we build something, we want to start skinny, so appendages usually is what that is, and then work from skinny to big. If you were to totally create the body and ignore the legs, then you would have this big bulky wool mass, and it would be hard to tie in what you do here to what's already there. So to avoid that, we start with the legs. Like I said, I'm using white. I think it'll be easy for you guys to see. And generally with the legs, I pull a piece that's about the length of the leg, maybe a little bit longer. This is very thick roving, so I'm gonna split it in half. Most of the roving that I use, actually, I end up splitting it in half. So this one's really thick. I'm gonna actually split this into quarters. So now I have 4 approximately equal pieces. Those felt a little bigger. I'll save those for the hind legs. So to go down the leg, I hold my wool with my thumb, and then I wrap. So please review the video about wrapping, how to get a nice smooth and tight leg. This is going to be a little short, which is fine. You just add more wool. And make sure you go the direction of the pipe planer. That's going to also help you with the smoothness. So now I have all 4 legs wrapped, and I didn't even use the needle. If you wrap it tightly with the pipe cleaner, it will just stay. Not that you can't if you need to, just kind of make sure the ends are going to stay. And I left the feet for now. I want them to be a different color, little hoof. So I just let the wool kind of finish out above that hoof area. So now we need to get some wool on the tail and body. And the tail, I'm just going to take a little piece and go up and back. It's a little hard to work on pipe cleaner that isn't attached to anything. It's just sort of floating in the air because it wants to bend around on you. This technique of going up and back usually gives you a nice tapered shape, kind of thicker at the bottom or top, depending on which way you're going. Alright, so we got the tail covered. So I want to show you this process of wrapping the chest. So I start in front of the hind legs and wrap forward. I don't pull this like super tight, but you want it to be nice and tight. The consistency of the tightness of your project, start to finish, is really important. It's going to felt together better if it's really consistent. Okay, I want to wrap this area without including the tops of the front legs. I want to get some wool in here. And so the way that I do that is I go over a shoulder. I'm going to make like a kind of a crisscross on the chest here. I go over the shoulder and come out under the opposite armpit, which covers this, where the armature's twisted together. And then I need to do the reverse. So I go over his back, and then I'm going to come under this armpit and go over this shoulder, like that. So now I have a nice, even, symmetrical wrap, and I'm just going to finish this out back here around the body a little bit. And now I'm going to take my second piece and do the same thing. This time I'll probably go up the, I'll probably have enough wool to go up the head and neck a little bit. Over the shoulder, under the armpit, over the shoulder, and this time I'm going to go up the neck. Okay, I'm going to do that probably 2 more times. These pieces of wool are about 12 inches long. So now we need to kind of marry the tops of the legs to this thicker body that we've created. And this is going to be that, that down and back, like I did on the tail that I was telling you about. So for the hind legs, I'm using about a 3 or 4 inch piece. I'm going to split it in half. And what I want to do is thicken up the top of the leg, letting it taper as it goes towards the hock. So to do that, I'm going to start on the body. You can even go around once to anchor it. And then I'm going to go down the leg, maybe 2 or 3 wraps, and then kind of angle it back up and return to the body. So that kind of thickens that up. And we do it to the front legs too, just a smaller piece, just down to the elbow and back up. Okay, I'm going to show you on the front leg as well. Hold it in place with my thumb. Go down just to where the elbow is, and then come back up and return to the body. This you need to needle felt. I like to turn them so that I'm working from the inside of the leg. It's just I can get the leg right against the foam, so I have nice support for the felting. I mean, it's not foam anymore. My felting surface, I should say. And then come this way just to felt this loose bit down. So now we have all of the legs a little thicker at the top. The next thing to do is to wrap the head. And with most animals, you use the same technique, that idea of starting back here, coming forward and going back, and it'll stay nice and dainty at the nose, and then thicken up as you get towards the back of the skull, which is, you know, the way most animals are put together. Okay, I start at the base of the neck. I'm going to wrap to the nose. And then when I get to the tip of the nose, I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to angle back and let the rest of the wool thicken up the back of the head. So I don't even need to felt that before I put my next piece on. This time, I want to kind of fill in this area down here to thicken up the head. You can see on this one it's nice and thick back here and thin here. The way to do that is to go around the back of the head and come under this throat area and kind of skip forward right to the bridge of the nose, and then come under the throat area again and go to the back of the head. And so you're kind of making a figure 8, and it concentrates the wool right in here. And then we felt that a little bit. And the last thing to do before we move on to adding shapes is one more piece at the top of the thighs to integrate the thighs into the body. So it's a nice 4-inch piece for each side. And it's kind of like what we did here, starting on the body, go around the top of the leg once, and return to the body. And felt it on. And felt this down. I'm just moving along a little bit just because I want to keep the length of the video reasonable. And then same thing on the other side. Hold it on the body, around the top of the leg once, and return to the body. And so that really just unifies that whole joint there. Okay, so we got this far along. Everything's pretty much wrapped, and next we're going to begin adding sculpted shapes to start to. Goats have big bellies, so we got to give them a big belly, and so I think we can do that in another video, and then probably sculpting the face will be another video, and then all the idea of the colors and blending colors. And you guys can apply this stuff, like I said, to pretty much anything that you decide to make. Thanks.